Hey guys, welcome to another video. On this episode, we'll be talking about one dividend ETF that you should be looking into. And no, this isn't Noble, the Dividend Aristocrat ETF. This is a lot different, and I think you're going to be interested to find out what it is. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Romel, and on this channel we talk about all things related to finance, investing, and building wealth. We discuss mindsets, strategies, techniques, and resources for you to implement in your journey to build wealth. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. We produce new content every week. Alright guys, I'm really excited to share this new stock pick for you. Everyone knows that dividend aristocrats are one of the best ways to diversify yourself with consistent, steady growth companies. Dividend aristocrats, by definition, are companies that have shown historical growth or historical performance to both issue dividends and raise their dividends to all their shareholders for 25 consecutive years. Noble is one of the most popular ETFs because it actually says it's the ProShares Dividend Aristocrat ETF. It has the word Dividend Aristocrat in its name. I believe it currently holds 66 companies, all which are dividend aristocrats by the specific definition of issuing and increasing their dividends over the past 25 years. However, with all the news about technology and all the current growth in the market, don't you wish there was some sort of equivalent to Noble, but only for technology stocks? The short answer is yes. In this video, I'll be telling you what that stock is, and I'll do a comparison between the stock I'm about to tell you and Noble. The stock I'm talking about is called the S&P Technology Dividend Aristocrats ETF, ticker symbol TDV. By comparison, on the funds page, the description of this stock is the only ETF focusing on S&P Technology Dividend Aristocrats, well-established technology-related companies that have consistently raised their dividends for at least 7 years. So that's one of the big differences. The general term for dividend aristocrats is that you have to raise your dividends for consecutive 25 years. This ETF only has a minimum requirement of 7 years. If we look further into the description, it says that TDV's holdings are quality names that as a group generally have had stable earnings, solid fundamentals, and strong histories of profit and growth. Alright guys, so let's take a look at some of the key information about this fund. The inception date was November 5th, 2019. So yes, this is a relatively new ETF. The expense ratio is 0.45%. It has a dividend yield of 1.98%, and its distributions are quarterly. So you'll be getting dividends 4 times a year. All right, now let's take a look at what sectors this fund currently has its holdings in. The top sector is semiconductors. It has 19.65% of its portfolio invested in semiconductors. Second one is data processing and outsourced services. Third is information technology. Fourth is electronic components. You have semiconductors at fifth. IT consulting and other services, system software, technology, hardware, storage and peripherals, electronic equipment and instruments, communications equipment, electronic manufacturing services, interactive home entertainment, and finally, internet and direct marketing retail. Unlike Noble, TDV only has stocks that relate to technology. By contrast, Noble has companies that are in various sectors such as industrials, consumer staples, materials, financials, consumer discretionary, healthcare, real estate, technology, energy, utilities, and communication services. Noble ETF is the fund that you look at when you're thinking about the general definition of dividend aristocrats. They're not just technology related, they're varied, and they cover a wide range of market sectors. Alright, the next comparison I'd like to do is regarding Noble's expense ratio. Noble's expense ratio is only 0.35%. By comparison, TDV is a whole 0.10% higher. Again, TDV's expense ratio is 0.45%, whereas Noble's is 0.35%. So that's another big thing that you need to consider when you invest in TDV. Regarding the inception date of the fund, it if you recall, TDV's inception date was November 5th, 2019, which is relatively new. However, Noble, on the other hand, has had a longer track record or longer historical time in the market. Inception date was October 9th, 2013. So this fund was created 6 years before TDV was even thought of. All right, and probably one of the most important factors or indicators to you is the dividend yield. If you recall, TDV's dividend yield was 1.98% issued quarterly, which meant you get dividends 4 times a year. By comparison, Noble's dividend yield is 2.75%, and it's also issued quarterly. So by comparison, Noble is actually higher in their dividend yield than TDV. However, both give out their dividends on a quarterly basis. Another thing we should look at is how many companies each of these ETFs are currently holding. As of March 31st, TDV currently has 38 companies or 38 stocks in its portfolio or in this ETF. By comparison, Noble, the Dividend Aristocrat ETF, has 66. So that makes a big difference in how you want to diversify yourself or how you want to think about your investing strategy. Do you believe in all of the 38 companies that TDV has in its holdings, or are you more comfortable with going the route most well known, which is the Noble route, and having 66 companies? Again, one of the big differences is that although Noble has 66 companies, they're more diversified in terms of how many market sectors they're invested into. TDV is only invested in stocks related to technology and all those subcategories or subsectors that I mentioned earlier in the video. All right, guys, so which ETFs should you invest in? Well, it depends on a few factors, such as your investing style, your risk tolerance, and your need for a high dividend yielding stock. Remember, TDV has a lower dividend yield than Noble at 1.98%. So if dividend yield is something that you're after, then both of these have it, but Noble has the higher dividend yield. However, if you're someone that's heavily invested in technology stocks, this might be a good alternative to having individual stocks. And that's because you get 38 companies when you invest in TDV, the Technology Dividend Aristocrat ETF. Also, the other big metric is expense ratio. Remember, Noble has a lower expense ratio than TDV. All right, guys, I was really excited to share that with you. I know that a lot of people are looking to invest in technology stocks right now because of all the growth and advancements that we've had in technology. This is a great alternative to having a whole bunch of stocks in your portfolio. Instead of having 38 individual stocks, why not just invest in one ETF to diversify yourself in the technology sector? Again, I know it's kind of misleading in the sense that they're calling it a Technology Dividend Aristocrat because the technical definition is a company that's issued and increased their dividend over the past 25 years. So it's really up to you whether or not you consider this a dividend aristocrat. However, this is another stock that you should look into if you want to look into safe, stable ETFs. All right, guys, that's all I have for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you knew about this stock, and if not, what other ETFs are you looking into to get yourself diversified in technology? Please smash the button to let the YouTube algorithm know that you enjoy the content we produce. Also, don't forget to subscribe. We're a new and growing channel, and your subscription is greatly appreciated. Also, I try to be very active and engaging in all my followers and subscribers and people that comment down in the comments on my videos. So feel free to say hi and ask any questions that you'd like. Also, if you'd like to connect with me on other social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, I'll leave links to my usernames in the description down below. All right, guys, that's all I have for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.